Business Workshop. My name is Patrick, and I run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts. And let's assume for a moment that on this Zoom call and watching the various different live streams, because we stream it live on Facebook and YouTube and all of that, are a diverse group of artists and photographers, right? From all walks of life, from all niches, from all geographic locations, both this country and other countries, and varying different ages of, physical age as well as experience, let's just say, right? And let's also assume, because all of you guys are here, that you want to better monetize your creative talents. And for some of you, that might be you've never even sold your first piece and you're just trying to get there, right? Oh, sorry, I don't know why my camera thing went off there. For some of you, it might be you want to turn your creative passion into a side hustle that starts to pay some consistent income. For some of you, it might be you want to turn from side hustle to potentially full-time job, right? For some of you, your business was absolutely hustling or absolutely moving along, really, really doing well pre-COVID, and COVID just destroyed everything, right? And then for some of you, you're looking for a business that you could potentially retire on. And as diverse a background as you all might have, it turns out there's one thing that unites all of you. Every one of you has a marketing problem. Not only do you have a marketing problem, it's the biggest problem that you have. And if your business is a boat that has holes in it, what everybody does is they all go working on the holes that are barely letting any water into the boat. And the one that is flooding the boat is the marketing problem. Okay. And how do I know that? I've been doing this for a long time. By which I mean, how do you apply modern marketing to the finicky and nuanced business that is selling art and photography, right? And in addition to that, I've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars of worth of art myself, assisting my customers on various different marketing initiatives, okay? In addition to that, I talk to hundreds of you guys a week, both customers that are signed up for Art Storefronts and, folks like you guys that are on these webinars. And, in addition to that, I study very closely your websites, your social accounts, what little marketing you are doing, and I've looked at thousands of websites of artists and photographers and seen what they usually do in terms of marketing, which is usually very little, if any. And to add to that pile, we have over 5,500 customers at Art Storefronts, okay? And myself and my team, we study this data, and we kind of approach it with like a who, what, and how approach. Who is the artist or photographer that is selling the most? We always chase success and we always ignore everything else. What are they selling, right? How much and what is it? Originals, commissions, prints, dollar amounts, AOV, average order value. And then the final piece of that data is how did they sell it, right? Was it an email? Was it a sale? Was it as a result of organic traffic, or was it a result of Facebook or anything like that, right? And how many sales are they running a year? How many people do they have on their email list? You study all of that, and if you combine all of that, I feel like that really gives us, myself, Art Storefronts as an organization, some really, really good insights into both the what and the how you need to know if you actually want to grow a creative business and continue growing it year over year. So the purpose of this presentation today is sort of, up top at the very beginning here, is to sort of lay down some things in principle that we think are critically important that call them a set of principles, call them a set of premises or rules, if you like, that we think you need to understand and sort of agree with before we can even get into talking about websites and marketing and pricing and niche selection and all that. And to sort of explain it, there's this maximum that applies to investing, okay? And it goes like this: that you don't have to get a whole lot right as long as you don't get a whole lot wrong. And in principle, it sort of means as long as you are putting a certain amount of money away for your retirement on a consistent basis, and as long as you are not getting crazy and gambling on weird stocks and you're invested in a normal fund, and you stretch that out over a nice long clip of time, you are going to do fantastic. You're going to have money for retirement, right? You don't have to get a whole lot right as long as you don't get a whole lot wrong. Well, this next little part of the presentation is that maximum applied to a successful art or photography business. You don't have to do a whole lot right as long as you don't get a whole lot wrong. Having seen everything that I've seen over the years, having seen everything that we've seen with our customers, knowing how long you guys have to be working this business, which is essentially the rest of your lives, these are the things that you just have to get right. If you get these things right, the score, and you get these things right and you work consistently in your marketing, the score more or less takes care of itself. So in terms of the presentation, I'm going to start with this thing up top. as I roll along, I'm going to be talking about various different videos and links and PDFs and this, that, and the others. I'm going to put some of those things in the chat. For everything else, we are going to send you an email after the fact with a replay of this video. And in there, you can check them out and everything else. So point being, you can just passively listen and watch, and you don't need to feel like you need to click on all these various different things. As the presentation is rolling along, there is the chat down there at the bottom. If you have a question about anything that's said, or if you just want to get something off of your mind and throw it in there, you can do that. We'll pick all of those questions up in the Q&A, and we'll get right into the Q&A as soon as I'm done with the presentation. And if you're one of the ones watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, I see your comments, I see your questions. I can bring those right into the stream too. So happy to answer those once we get into the Q&A section. So let's start off. You don't have to get a whole lot right as long as you don't get a whole lot wrong. To explain this, I've created what I call the art selling pyramid, okay? And it's a way to explain these premises, these principles. I stole it from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with this thing or not, but it's a pyramid, and the idea is that you have to sort the bottom blocks before you can sort the next blocks up. Maslow's case, the bottom block, the physiological needs, right? Like, we all need to eat, we all need to sleep, we all have to do that daily. Once we have that taken care of, then we can move up to safety and security and love and all the rest of the jazz. So that's what I've copied here. This is the art selling pyramid, okay? The bottom block of the art selling pyramid is attention, okay? Attention is the currency of the land that we live in right now. It is the one thing that every single sole trade person on this Zoom call is struggling with. And by the way, that problem is not unique to you. If Art Storefronts as a business wants to grow, what do we need to sort? Attention. It's what we work at daily. And no different than Maslow's blocks of the physiological needs, eating and sleeping. You want to make it, you want to be successful, you want your business to keep growing, you have to work on attention, meaning working on your marketing on a daily basis. And I would go as far to say, as many of you guys as I've studied, okay, you are solopreneurs for the most part. You don't have anyone else to do this for you. You do not have a marketing department, and yet very, very few of you ever do it. And the sad thing that you learn about once you understand that attention is the currency of the land is, in today's day and age, the best art, the best photography does not win, does not sell. I wish it was the truth. The best art, the best photography that gets seen sells. It is a meritocracy first and foremost on your marketing, and then it is a meritocracy secondarily on the creation of the work. But stated another way, the work is not going to sell itself, okay? It just doesn't. It has to actively be marketed, which is why this is the biggest problem that every single solitary artist and photographer has if they want to grow their business. And I use a funny little story. I think it's funny. Some people might think it's a little gauche, but if I asked you who are some of the most powerful women in the world, how would you respond to that? And you know how I respond to that? I say it is the Kardashian-Jenner sisters. And why do I say that? We can all argue about how those gals go about obtaining their attention, right? Often scantily clad and the like and all the rest. But what we can't argue about is what they've managed to do with it. And what you have to respect them for is what they've managed to do with that attention. Because they have all of these eyeballs, they now all have a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100 million a year business. Like, some of them are quoted as being worth $1 billion. And how did they do that? They did that by understanding that the currency of the land is simply attention. If you have it, you can do anything. And stated another way, if any of those gals decided to pick up a paintbrush or a camera starting tomorrow, they would have a $10 million a year art business year one, regardless of their level of talent. And that's probably not very fair, is it? Certainly doesn't sound fair to me, but it underscores that attention is the currency of the land. So once we understand attention is the currency of the land, and we're working on our marketing, and we're working on it consistently, we're doing it daily, you have to understand the business model, and you have to be working on a collector list, okay? The business model, very succinctly and simply, is you have to sell direct, you guys. There can be no one in between you and your end customer, okay? There can be no one in between you and your end customer, because you need to retain the information on your end customer so that you can market to these folks in perpetuity, okay? That is one of the biggest mistakes I see being made, and it is so fundamental to being successful in this business over the long term. If you do not retain the information on who is purchasing your work, you don't stand a chance at building a collector list. Now, a collector list was a concept that I originally got switched onto by this book. Don't Be a Starving Artist. Phenomenal book by Weiland, the whale guy. Depending on who you talk to, the best-selling artist in the United States, apparently not even close. So he knows what he's talking about. It's a really good book. I'm going to send you the link. In it, Weiland talks about his concept of a collector list. For him, a collector is someone that has purchased in upwards of 8 pieces of work from Weiland over the course of their lifetime. He keeps creating, they keep buying. He treats these folks like they are staying at the Four Seasons, okay? He goes out of his way. He sends them personalized Christmas cards and personalized emails, and he likes and comments on their social posts, okay? He talks about a bunch of stuff that he does in his book, so I recommend you get it. But what I've seen, across the last 7 years of doing this is I believe the size of a collector list and the health of a collector list, how often it's been communicated with, is essentially the number one or number two most important metric an art or a photography business can have. If you have a healthy collector list, you have a healthy business. If you have zero collector list, you are completely you have no control over anything. You're subject to the whims of the world. No different than folks that didn't when COVID hit, right? And stated succinctly, a collector list, you're coming out with a new series. And to keep the math simple, your new series has 10 pieces, and you're going to release it to the public on Wednesday. On Sunday, you write an email. Hey, collectors, patrons, thank you so much for your continued support. I just wanted to let you know I'm coming out with a brand new series of 10 pieces that I'm releasing to the public on Wednesday. As a way of saying thanks for your continued support of my artistic endeavors, I wanted to give you a first look at these pieces. And you send them an email with all the different pieces, and what ends up happening is they start buying the works before the public can get a hold of them, because it turns out they like being treated like VIPs. They like being treated like they're staying at the Four Seasons. The numbers start small at first. Maybe 1 out of 10 gets sold, and then it goes to 2 out of 10 and 3 out of 10 and 4 out of 10. With some of our best customers, I'm seeing 50, 60, 70%. 70% of the work that they create is sold to their collectors before it even hits the market. And essentially, artists or photographers, you guys are just commission salespeople, okay? You go and you create the work, and then after you create the work, you have to go out and sell it. If you go out and sell it, you get paid, right? And if you don't, the work does not sell itself. So you do the work, you sell, you can have a great year. You're a commission salesperson. There's no guarantee, though, if you don't, right? So what is the collector list? It takes you from being a commission salesperson, and now you're a commission salesperson because you have a collector list with a base salary. You get paid some base salary per year just for creating and just for sending emails to these folks. That's how important a collector list is, and especially as we view it through the lens of time, because you're going to be selling art for the next several decades of your life, okay? And if you have this collector list and you take care of it, it will continue to take care of you. Fundamentally important if you want to make it in this business. We're working on our attention. We understand the business model and the collector list. The next block is the 3 ways to sell art. There are 3 ways to sell art, and only 3. And let's go through them. I believe that every artist, every photographer needs to be aware of the 3, and then needs to deploy the 3 in the situations where it is applicable, okay? The number 1 way, the best way, is selling art in person, face to face. Always has been the best way, always will be the best way. Problem though, right? You, me, all of us are geographically fixed on this planet, okay? We can't be everywhere at once. We have to sleep, and we're incapable of having 25 conversations at a time. So what's the next best way? It's on your website. The website solves for all these situations, right? It solves for the situations when someone's not geographically in your town, or when you're sleeping, or 50 people can be looking at your art all at once. So the website is critically important. You need to have your art up on it. It needs to look beautiful. It needs to be able to be purchased, right? The third way, the newest way, is one of the most amazing ways that exist, period, is selling direct via video. Exactly what we're doing right now, in either a one-to-one fashion, which I'll talk about in a sec, or the one-to-many fashion, okay? Let's do one-to-one. One-to-one is very simply, let's say, I follow Charlene here on Instagram, and I see a piece of Charlene's, and it's really interesting, and I show my wife because we're sitting on the couch watching TV, and I'm like, that's really interesting. Let's send Charlene a message on Instagram. And so I send Charlene a message on Instagram, and I say, Charlene, my wife and I saw your latest piece, and we're very interested in it. Do you think we could jump on a video call and perhaps talk about it? And Charlene goes, no problem, Patrick. I'd love to do that. And next thing you know, we're in a Zoom call, and Charlene's holding up her piece, and she's merchandising it, and she's explaining to me her inspiration, and her and my wife are bonding. And the next thing you know, we really like her. And then the next thing you know, we purchase. Okay. And there are very, very few artists that are leveraging even this right now, despite the fact it's so easy to do. I mean, what if instead of attempting to go for a sale on your website, you just went to book an appointment. You just wanted people to book an art chat, right? Exactly like I'm showing you. Virtual art consulting call. Set up a 30-minute web conference. Boom, you schedule it. Somebody is now talking to you automatically on your calendar, talking to you in a Zoom call about your work. How many of you guys have done that, right? How many of you even set one of those up? Almost no one does it at all. It's insanely powerful. That's the one-to-one. It's going to fundamentally change the way art and photography is sold. Now we get into the fun one, which is the one-to-many. The one-to-many is this concept of a live art show, okay? And during the course of COVID, we started running these with our customers. And my one buddy, Matthew Laka, he is an artist in Laval, which is in Quebec, in Canada. He had a bunch of inventory, quite literally, in his basement that had been down there for like 10 years, hence the basement sale. And here he is in his garage studio, holding up the pieces. There's no fancy camera equipment. There's no fancy lighting. There's no fancy sound. He is using a cell phone and he is using a laptop, which many of you already have. Desktop is just as good. He's streaming live to Instagram. He's streaming live to Facebook. He's streaming live to his Facebook business page and to his YouTube account. This particular gentleman ran 2 sales over a 15-day period, sold 62 pieces for a little bit over $30,000 Canadian. We saw those results. Don't worry, I'm going to send you these links later. You can check them out. And they were pretty fantastic. We're like, whoa, that's amazing. Can you duplicate it, right? Because a great deal of what my job is to find success, like I alluded to earlier, and say, okay, study the success. What created that success? Can we go and duplicate it? And can we teach it to everybody else? And so in this, what you're seeing here behind me now is another one of our customers. Her name is Meg. This is her basement, ironically enough, in her house in Kansas City. And she was moving from one studio to another. And like physically moving from one studio to another. So she had some stuff she wanted to clear out. And a lot of them were color sketches and smaller pieces and, you know, not framed and, you know, simple pieces. And do you remember what I said about the collector list? In Meg's case, there were 80 people or 82 pieces in this show. And she went ahead and emailed her collector list, and her collector list bought 46% of the show before it even started. In Meg's case, she sold, I think, like 68 out of the 82 pieces for a little bit over $12,000 US, right? And since then, we've run one after another with different niches, different media types, different parts of this country, different parts of others, all types of different ways of going about it. How do you price? How do you discount? How do you promote it? How do you go about it? Can you wear white gloves? Should you wear white gloves? Does it even matter? TBD on that. I'll let you know in the white gloves when we find out. But we've just run one after another, every niche imaginable, every subject matter, like I said, imaginable, different artists, different ways of pitching it. And quite frankly, I've never in my entire life seen a marketing technique or tactic that is so insanely effective at selling art. And there's a number of reasons for that. We can get into it. Right now, we're talking about our customers, and you have one viewpoint on whether or not leveraging live video is the future of selling art and photography. Let me give you another one, okay? Not a whole lot of reports in your industry. This one is called the Art Market 2021 report, and it's put out by Art Basel and UBS Global. And in full disclosure, on these reports, they really only survey the top 1% of artists in the world. So picture artists that are well into 6 figures a year and above, up to many millions, but the data is still pertinent. So they put out this report. I love this report. I'm going to send you a link to this report. I think you should scan this report. I think you'll learn some interesting things. They talk about the global art market, auction sales, dealer sales, art fairs, and exhibitions. What I want to focus on is online sales, okay? So I've just gone through how selling art and photography via live video in the various different capacities is the full stop future of selling art and photography. And now let's see what the big boys are doing. And I quote, Chapter 5 looks at the online art market and the rapid evolution in sales in 2021. The chapter shows how the dealer sector shifted sales online in 2020 and the development of online viewing rooms, OVRs. You know what OVRs are? And you should check this report out too. They've got like kind of cool graphics. I mean, look at online sales in 2020 versus 2019. Staggering. I mean, this is all COVID. COVID took like 10 years of growth and put it all down into 14 days. And guess what? We ain't going back. We ain't going back to the good old days. But anyway, online viewing rooms. You know what an online viewing room is? It is a snotty way of saying a Zoom call. That's all it is, okay? And then the report goes on to say how all of these high-end artists sold a tremendous amount of art in the last calendar year, yes, all through COVID, by doing Zoom calls with the artist and or the artist agent on one side and the high net worth individual on the other. They talk, they bought art. So it doesn't matter if you're just getting started or if you are picking up steam in your career. This concept of leveraging live video to sell your art, your photography, and doesn't matter a one-to-one or a one-to-many scenario, is the future, full stop, okay? And there are various different iterations of this that you probably haven't even scratched, wrapped your whole head around, right? Like, you are doing the show and therapy circuit, or you're in a gallery and you have the show, okay? This is the future of marketing, you guys. This particular case, my same buddy Matthew, an extremely talented artist, had a show booked in the middle of COVID during lockdown, got to go ahead with the show. Of course, not a bunch of people came to the show. It was social distancing inside the gallery, masks, all of that. But what happened? Next day, grabs his glass of wine, grabs the camera, starts walking the show. Starts walking the show like you're there. And he's showing the various different pieces to people, and people are leaving comments in real time. And guess what? He was able to sell a bunch of the pieces that didn't sell originally to his collector list or didn't sell the night of the show as a result of running this live art show. So it doesn't matter how you do it, right? Like, oh, so you're doing the show and therapy circuit, or you have a booth at the farmer's market, or you have some sort of co-op or collective, and you're not running you're not running a live art show after you've gone through all the hassle of driving your pieces down there and setting them up on the wall and going through the promotion and everything else. You're not getting the additional level of ROI out of that show by running a live art show. What are you doing? What are you doing? Right? It's profound to contemplate the way that this is going to change everything. And let me tell you, when you go through a couple of these and when you see there's no fancy equipment, it's just an internet connection, but you feel in many ways closer and more intimately involved in the artist, and the artist is responding to you, it's phenomenal. It is an utter total game changer. And it's just one of these things that's broken out as a result of COVID that is completely changing the landscape in which how art and photography is sold. And there's only two kinds of artists and photographers: the kinds that know and are attempting to do it, and the kinds that don't, right? So just by the fact that you know, and maybe you leave here and you look at a couple of things, and maybe you try one of these on your own, you're now in the top 5% in terms of marketing sophistication of artists and photographers on the globe right now. That makes me happy. That'll kick my weekend off in style. So that's selling via live art shows. The very top of the pyramid, you guys, is everything else. It's everything else. You have a gallery relationship, okay, that is still paying you an income. Love that. Love a gallery relationship. I don't love that they're taking a 50-50 split. I don't love that they're not giving you information on your collectors, but I'm okay if it's the top block of the pyramid. So to anything else. Online galleries, great. Show and therapy circuit, great, okay? Anything else that's bringing your business revenue, fantastic, but you need to understand the attention piece, right? And you need to be leveraging the business model and building a collector list and the 3 ways to sell art. Then you can get to everything else, right? And if I take that whole thing, right, and remember, you don't have to get a whole lot right as long as you don't get a whole lot wrong. If you get all of that right, okay, and then we throw in a little healthy dose of perspective, i.e. the sheer number of years of your life that you have left to be working on growing your art business, the score is going to take care of itself. If you get that stuff right and you focus on that, your business continues to grow year over year, okay? Your business is not subject to the whims that this world might throw at you. You get kicked off Facebook, or another pandemic comes and you're locked down. Your gallery tells you, sorry, we moved on to someone else. The show and therapy circuit just gets completely canceled, or you're getting to the point where you don't want to do that anymore. Well, guess what? If you get that pyramid right, you don't have to worry about any of it. Your business grows year after year, okay? And fundamentally, it's so important. And again, I talk to hundreds of you guys week in, week out. There's one thing that I see consistently: people in their 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, and even people on their 90s that are coming onto these calls, trying to figure out how they can grow their business. No matter what age you are, you have the rest of your life to be doing this. So if you want to take seriously, okay, your career, and you want to see have the ability to monetize your creativity and have it grow year after year, I fundamentally believe you have to get that pyramid right. And let me tell you, don't take it cynically. It doesn't mean you have to sign up with Art Storefronts. I don't care if you sign up for Art Storefronts or not. Obviously, I'd love for you to do so, but you have to get the pyramid right, whether it's with us or whether it's with someone else. You do that, you stretch it out over time. Okay, you market consistently year in, year out. You fix the marketing problem. Your business is going to grow year after year after year after year. And is it easy in the beginning? No, it's not. But at least you will be on the path where the thing is actually growing and you're actually maturing the business. So that's my rant. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. We'll now open things up to Q&A. In the Q&A session, you can literally ask me anything about anything. If you are one of the brave ones, which it looks like only Ruth is the brave one today, normally if your camera's on and you have a question and you raise your hand, I'll see that and we can unmute you. But there is, for everybody else, there's a Zoom bar. See, there we go. Donna's getting brave. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Donna. That was brave of you. Yep, she's waving. For everyone else, and Pamela's on good. There's a reactions bar at the bottom of the Zoom window, and you click that thing, and that'll let you raise your hand digitally, and that kind of lets me know that, like, hey, you've got a question, and then I kind of just work down the line. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on. I totally get it. You are going to have to turn your camera on when you run your first live art show, okay? But for now, you don't need to, okay? I totally get that. So you don't have to if you don't want to. You can just ask via audio. That's totally fine. And then you can throw comments in the chat. I go through those, and I'll pick those up and answer those as well. And then, like I said, so too on the socials. If you're watching on any of the socials, then you know, you can leave a comment there too. And let me just tell you too, as a final, I love that you guys are here now, because if my little countdown timer loads, will it load or is it going to derp out? Every time I try to do this for presentation, it always just, of course, it's working so beautifully before. I have my like little countdown timer on my phone, and normally what it shows is there's, I think, 37 days until the start of Q4. And what is Q4? Q4 is the fourth quarter, in which we have Black Friday, we have Cyber Monday, we have the holiday buying season, Christmas, and more art is sold traditionally in the fourth quarter than the other 3 quarters combined. It's not even close for most customers. So it's a great time to be attempting to take your art career seriously. And, you know, for those that are going to make it and have a successful Q4 versus not, like, the bar is pretty low. Show up and get a sail in the water, okay? The majority of you did not do any of that, even resembling any of that last year, and you just let the whole thing pass you by, right? Like, you know, are you going to destroy it if you just have a sale? No. But are you going to miss completely if you don't at least have the sale during Black Friday and Cyber Monday? Yes, you are, okay? It's just a fantastic time to be selling art. So, okay, that's what I got. Questions? Comments? Can be about anything? Normally, I just have to pick on the ones that have their cameras on. So, Donna, Pamela, Janet, anything I can answer for you guys? All right, Donna's going, and then Albert, I'll get you in a second. And you'll have to, yeah, gotcha, Donna. And then we move out of the way here.
Well, wow, I came late, but I've been wanting to get a little bit more information.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you said something about the Q4.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
I'm a relatively new artist. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I started late. I didn't even know I could fucking paint. I'm sorry if I'm not supposed
to
curse.
Beep. Ignore that one, Facebook.
But I love painting, and I think that my paintings have a voice.
Okay.
I think that people would like them, but my biggest issue is what most people have is marketing, just like you said.
Yep.
So I guess the part that I missed was the part that you said about marketing, and I kind of want to have a little bit more of that. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Have you sold your art, your photography, to people not named mother? Well, you said you're a painter, so let's just say your art to people not named mother, father, brother, sister, family, friends.
I have people begging for my art. I haven't given it away yet.
Okay, so we need to fix that. Step 1. When people start begging you for your art, I want you now to respond. I take cash, check, Venmo, PayPal, Visa, MasterCard. Give it up. Let's go. Okay.
Yeah.
Take payment. If somebody's banging down your door, you got to take payment. That's for certain. But look, the long and the short of it boiled down succinctly. The first problem someone has to solve is, will the work sell? And will the work sell to people not named mother, brother, father, family, friend, right? Once you get past
Hmm.
that, then that's no longer a problem. Now you have a marketing problem. And that problem is you got to work on that in perpetuity, and it never stops.
Okay.
Why won't you let go of the work when they want to buy it though?
Um, I've been embarrassed to let it go. I don't know why. I know that it has a voice for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that they've been. I've always thought they were foolish. Sorry.
Yep. I
Full,
heard you.
I thought that they were joking.
Mm-hmm.
But some people have been pretty persistent and trying to get my paintings, and so maybe I should
Yes, you
listen.
should. Who is the let's get some action items here, Donna, because I want to help you. Who is the last person that was persistent to get the art?
One of the young ladies that I know, she's an instructor at a
I
college,
want you to
and
write her. I
she
want you to write her an email today and let her know you're officially launching your art business. Ask her which pieces she wants. Schedule a Zoom call with her. Okay, you can use my Zoom account. You email me, I will send you my Zoom account. You can use it. Okay, or you can do
okay,
FaceTime or whatever else. And I want you to sell that piece to her.
okay, all right,
That's
all
it.
right.
That is your only weekend assignment. That's it. So step one, doing it. Step two is going to be physically letting go of it. I know it's hard. I know it's like a child, but you
Yeah,
got to let that art get out into the world.
yeah, okay,
Email me. I want to hear about it.
I will. I promise.
All right, that's how you get started, Donna, and then come back on another session too and tell me about it because it's gonna change the game. But you gotta let those things go,
Okay,
and don't worry
thanks, Patrick.
about the price either. Like literally, be reasonable, price it how you think it
Yeah,
should be priced, and then see what she says. If she says, well, that seems a little expensive, say, okay, well, what would you pay for it, and just get the transaction over the line. Oh, the first one, it's
okay,
it's so nice once you get the
sounds
first one
good.
done. Yeah,
Okay,
thanks, Donna, and then we can work on your marketing problem. Okay, Janet, you're up next. Go ahead, Janet.
Got it. Hi, Donna. Hello, Patrick, but
Yeah.
hi, Donna. Oops, did she just
No,
leave?
no, she's
No,
there. She can hear you. I just muted her. But
the maybe I myself and maybe Donna is this bit about pricing.
mhm.
And so, what is your service and how when it comes to talking about pricing?
Yeah. So we give some very strong recommendations in terms of pricing, but let me just speak to pricing generally. A couple of different ways it goes, right? With a great deal of artists, almost like a cancer, is never charging enough for their work. Okay? That's a massive common trend with artists. That's number one. Number two, pricing is what we call a reversible decision. So you always want to ask yourself, is the decision I'm about to make reversible or not, right? And if it's reversible, then don't spend as much time dwelling and stressing on it. You could have high prices tomorrow and lower prices the next day and medium prices in the middle. No one's going to call you out. No one's going to even know the difference. So don't overthink it, right? Third, what's beautiful about this business is the pricing is completely arbitrary. I can't comparison shop a Janet Grenier piece versus a Donna piece, right? Because it's all in the eye of the beholder, right? So that's fantastic. So you set your prices, you start in on your marketing, you see how you do. If all the work sells, then you raise those prices up. If it's crickets, then maybe we go down. If they're saying I'm interested but no one's buying, which is why I was like heating Donna up about that, like go and get that sale and make sure, right? Early on, you're not going to command really, really high prices, but all the work needs to move. It needs to get out into the world. That's sort of original advice. That's pricing advice in general. On reproductions and the like, we recommend sort of across the board a 250% markup. And the reason that we do that is that a lot of what we recommend and what we teach you to do are to sell your art, your photography via promotions and sales and the like. And so you'll be discounting from time to time to get human beings to take action. And it helps to have that large markup such that you can drop the price down a little bit to move the works. So that's sort of how we approach it. But again, it is completely arbitrary, utterly, totally, and completely reversible. And it's a very easy thing to do for most people. For some people, like I said, they're so mortified to charge what they should be charging, that multiple times with my customers, I have had to say, like, I'm going to use you as an example right now. Janet,
Okay.
I know you're terrified to raise your prices. Okay. You don't have to do it. I'm going to go into your website tonight while you're asleep. I'm going to raise all the prices. Do not worry about it. Let me do it. If anything goes wrong, we'll switch them back, right? And I will sometimes do that. Members of my team will sometimes do that because people are so terrified to raise the prices.
So a print,
Mhm.
let's say 17 by 20 or
Yes.
some medium kind of size. I don't know what that size wholesale cost is.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. You take the wholesale cost,
But
you mark it up
the
250%.
250
50.
markup.
Mhm.
I don't. Give me an example.
So if I got to get my calculator, but you take the wholesale price, you mark it up 250%, and
Yeah.
that is your list price. And then occasionally during sales, you will offer 10 or 15 or 20% off, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So just an example. If I don't know if that wholesale price is $100, is
Mhm.
that kind of a beginning number?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, just for the sake of argument, you can use whatever math you like. It's sort of, it doesn't matter, right? Mark it up 250%.
So that's $252 is why I used 100, but
Yep.
I don't even know if that's kind of the price of a 17 by 20.
Yeah,
Print.
it is. It is. It is.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes we go higher and sometimes we adjust like a little bit to taste on some smaller and bigger ones. But with our system,
So,
it's super, super easy. You can do an
okay.
across the board markup. You can do an individual piece markup. You can do an individual piece different media type markup. Like it's very easy to set it like a global or a local level with us. And so makes it pretty easy to do, which is nice.
Well, we've got a lot of other hands up, so I'll let you go on to the next person.
Thanks, Janet. Good questions, though. Okay, next up is going to be QB, then Barbara, then Greg, then Pamela. So QB, you're up next. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hey.
Wow, I didn't know if I could get on here or not.
Oh, you got on.
I have a question that has a lot to do with how I got started.
Okay.
When I was in the 5th grade, my art teacher told me never try to be an artist.
Yes.
I didn't try to be an artist until I was ready to retire at 65.
Okay.
I was 67. I won 3 contests in a row, 3 years in a row.
Awesome.
Now I went to San Jose and I met Peter Max at one of his shows. And Peter Max told me never to sell my work cheap.
Mm-hmm.
He saw a piece of my work. That was back in 2008. I've been giving my work away ever since then. And my work is outstanding, but now I'm thinking I need to figure out a way to sell this work.
Yeah, you're totally.
I don't want to sell it cheap because he told me that I could always go up, I could always go down, but I couldn't go up.
Well, I agree with him. I agree with him on that one. But also, you got to sell it, right? Like, one of my favorite quotes ever is Pablo Picasso, middle of his career. Somebody's coming and asking him for advice, and his advice to the gentleman was, early on, my drawings didn't command a high price, but they all sold. Your drawings, your work has got to go out into the world, right? And so if you want to give it away, you can give it away, but then you have a hobby. You do not have a business, right? And that's totally okay if that's what you want to do. If you want to have a business, you got to make that distinction. You got to set a price and you got to see if you can sell it. To your other buddy's advice, like, you can start with the high price, which I love and I recommend, and then see if you have some interest. If you have some interest and you quote the price and they're like, "Ooh, okay, I don't think I'm ready." Then you know what you say? Okay, well, just play this game with me. What would you be willing to pay for it, right? And that early on, that's a great way to figure out, okay, let's see sort of where they are, what their temperature is, and you take that temperature from enough different people, you get an idea. But you got to sell the work, right? You got to get the transaction to go through. Because let me tell you, QB, if I came to your house right now and I picked you up and I drove you to the local ATM machine, the fact that you've won a contest the last 3 years in a row, that button is not on the ATM machine. And even if that button was on the ATM machine, if you press it, it's not going to put out anything, right? It's not going to give you any bucks to spend. So that's sort of how we look at it.
Great. Super. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, EQB. Okay, next up is Barbara. Go ahead, Barbara.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself.
Yep, all good.
I am not a photographer. I'm not a painter.
Mhm.
I'm a glass artist.
Okay.
But so I have two questions for you.
Mhm.
One is, how would this work? I'm represented in galleries,
Yes.
so I'm just wondering how it would work for me. And second, part of the reason why I'm interested is because I really want to like merchandise some of my designs.
Yes.
In a different way, because with glass I can't really produce, a million of them.
No, you definitely can't. And there's that whole part about the shipping, which, sorry, so that's the nature of the beast for you. Shipping is no fun when you're shipping glass. But look, nothing's changed, right? Like at the end of the day, our website solutions are utterly, totally, and completely set up to sell wall art. Yes, they are. But guess what else? They're also just an e-commerce website, right? So you can sell anything. You can sell classes. You can sell swim fins and books and videos, whatever you want. So you could sell the glass from our website easy enough. And yes, there's the merch. Yes, there's everything else. In terms of, but my point is, it doesn't matter that you're a glass artist. You still have the same marketing problem as everyone else. Turns out the marketing problem doesn't distinguish between what your medium is. In terms of the galleries, are you worried that the galleries will say like, hey, why are you selling direct? I'm selling your pieces for you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it's totally valid. We have an article that sort of speaks to some of the various different scenarios, but I can just tell you at a high level, if any of them are producing a significant amount of income for you, it's usually just one, then you can say, hey, guys, I love the relationship that we have, but I want to start doing some marketing on my own and build my own business. So because we have such a great relationship, we'll just continue with the 50-50 split. Anything that I sell on my own, 50-50 split. Anything that you sell in the gallery, 50-50 split, but I'm allowed to do my own marketing. That's how you do it if you have a really good gallery relationship and they're paying you a ton of money and you don't want to upset the apple cart. But then down at the bottom, if they're not providing that much income, you say like, look, guys, COVID has been extremely difficult and I need to attempt to start growing this business. You're not doing it enough for me, so I need to do some marketing. It's only going to help, and you get into it like that. But you can pretty much negotiate on a case-by-case basis. But again, case in point, like when those galleries closed, what were they doing for you?
Yeah, I've had a couple close. Do you know like if some artists that are represented by galleries sell different, like in other words, if I sold something that I don't?
Yeah, 100%. We have every scenario you could possibly imagine. Some will only sell stuff that's not available in the gallery on their site, right? Some, like I said, just do that 50-50 split because the gallery is paying them over $100,000 a year and they're like, I don't want to upset that apple cart. I get that. But also, you still need to be building your own list. And if you're not doing any marketing, you're not building your own list, right? Like, fundamentally, at the end of the day, it's very hard to make it as an artist or a photographer. So I love seeing artists or photographers that are making it, and you're in the artist bucket. It's natural, like fixed action pattern to say artist, photographer. So my point in this is you're doing great and you have these gallery relationships and it's fantastic. That puts you up in the rarefied atmosphere. But do you know what you are at the end of the day? You are a tenant farmer. You are a tenant farmer, and those galleries might be paying you a little bit of money and they might be putting food on your plate and they might be giving you a roof over the head. But guess what? They can kick you off the land at any point in time they want. And this is not to say, anything malicious about them. These are just the rules of the road. They can kick you off the land at any point in time they want. And what do you leave with? You leave with nothing because you have no idea who's buying your work. You have nobody to market to. That is an untenable situation to be in. I find that the gallery relationship is utterly, totally, and completely exploitative, right? A 50-50 split and you don't know who's buying your work. That is absolutely ridiculous. And let me tell you, 15, 20, 30 years ago, that was the norm. It became the paradigm. I get that. And a lot of people fell into it. Now, with what's capable in technology and modern marketing and how many people you can reach without even leaving your house, the balance of power is shifted, right? The gallery relationship / artist relationship is about to go through its Uber taxi cab moment. It's Blockbuster Netflix moment. They're done. They're done. That relationship is done. It might work at a certain level for a certain group of people, but day by day, especially with these abilities to sell direct via video and not even leave your house, like that's done. That exploitative nonsense is done. And it infuriates me because long term, what are you left with? What are you left with, right? It's like you're putting all your eggs in someone else's basket where you don't control anything. And I find that situation to be untenable.
And does Art Storefronts take a percentage of sales?
So we have, I can get into like the whole pricing and everything else. There is a transaction fee, and it varies on the different plans that you're on. I can go into what all it covers. I think at the very highest it's 15, at the very lowest it's like 5 or something like that. And essentially what it goes to pay for is we teach you to market nonstop for life. You know, today's session is essentially like, hey, here are the high level things that we think that you need to be thinking about and believe in. The next step where you learn about all the pricing and all the everything else is what we call our demo process. It's sort of like test driving the car. It's a 1 hour Zoom session with someone from our outreach team that walks you through all the bells and whistles of the software and the marketing and everything else. And you get into all the various different pricing and everything else. But just to tell you at a high level, you know, no one on this Zoom session has a website problem. Not you, not Pamela, not Greg, which means if I was a genie and I came out of the lamp and I said, I will move your website right now, wherever you want for free, boom, it's done like that. What's going to change in your business? Nothing, because it's not the problem. What's the problem? You got a marketing problem. Everyone on this call has a marketing problem. So what we charge in terms of a service, what differentiates us from everyone else is we are essentially, yeah, everyone thinks like, yo, we're a website company and we have websites and that's great, but that's not what we are. We are a postgraduate university in art and business marketing, except there's no graduates, there's no degrees, because the damn marketing landscape changes so often. So we know Art Storefronts as a business, if we're going to grow, be successful, we have to have successful customers. Do you know how you do that? Website's not enough, right? Website is not enough unless we teach our customers to market all year long, which we do in a million different ways. You're never going to have successful customers. So that's what we are. And it's a university with all the same type of stuff, including Zoom sessions like these with our customers every week, 2 days a week, teaching the various different things. Support on every level. We tell you how to market. We teach you how to market. We have education, do-it-yourself education on a whole bunch of stuff. And that's what all the fees go to pay for. And, you know, it's the differentiator. It's like, you know, I said earlier, and you got me going on a rant, and then we'll wrap it up and get to the next questions. But I look at one of the things that we do is people request a demo on our site. And I go and I look at the websites and I go and look at their social profiles, right? And I will go and get on their email lists. And I can't begin to tell you how many thousands of your websites that I've looked at, and you all have the same problem. None of you are marketing consistently. And if you are marketing consistently, you're not doing it in the right venues. None of you are having enough sales. And none of you are having the perspective of how long it takes grinding with marketing to get where you need to go. And so that's really essentially the problem we solve as a business. That's what we do.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry for the rant. You got me all fired up.
That's okay.
But I love the glass blowing stuff. I want to hear about that later. Okay. Up next is Greg, and then it'll go Pamela.
Boy, I could listen to you all day.
Well, I'm glad somebody can hear me.
And you know, you're absolutely right about website is not enough.
No.
I went up to Healdsburg, California.
Yeah.
And went into some of the galleries. And it's interesting, you know, you walk in and you talk to them and they're really nice because they don't know that you're an artist.
Yeah.
Once you tell them you're an artist, then they back off.
Yep.
Because they don't want the sales pitch.
Yep.
So that's one of the problems that I have. And I walked into one of the galleries and I asked the person behind the desk, I said, look, I'm an artist. I've been painting for 25 years. Mm-hmm. How does an artist get in here and get their work on the wall? And she goes, well, you just got to send 4 emails out every week to all these different galleries. And you do that and you wait. And some responses you get where they say, oh, you know, you're kind of like some of the other artists that we have here, or, you know, we need to put you on a waiting list. And so that's the most, one time I thought, you know what, the photos are not enough. And one time I went up to San Francisco, I parked my vehicle out front, I pulled out a huge 48 by 60 inch painting and I walked into the gallery with it.
I love it.
Because look I got a painting back here, right?
Yep.
You can't see the textures on it, but when you zoom in, you can see all the textures.
Yep.
And some photos, you can't see that.
That's right.
But you walk in and they see it in person and they're like blown away from it.
Yep.
But I know that's not the correct thing to do, but it's like, I mean, you got to be money hungry. You got to get out there and get your stuff in.
Yeah,
and if you don't,
absolutely have to.
You don't be pushy. You just walk in and go, hey, look, this is it in person.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So
But better still, you do that on your own, right? And
exactly.
like, yeah, like you know, the gallery relationship, it's just exploitative, right? And you know,
Well, it's so difficult to get them to even look at your work.
well,
They
why do
just
they
don't want
not
to look
give
at
you
your
the
work, or they're
information?
not interested, you
Why will
know?
they never give you the information on who purchases your work? Because it's
Yeah,
the only
well,
thing that
because
matters.
then you're
Because
direct to that person and they
it's the
don't get
only
their
thing that
commission.
matters. It's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing
Well,
that matters. That's
exactly.
it. Yeah. So that's what we teach you to get all year long. But like, look, you know, I feel
And
like
I,
a snot-nosed punk when I say it to people like you, right? Like you're probably at the top of your game right now, right? You've been doing this for like 30 years, where you've been painting and you're very, very talented at it, and you're at the top of your game. And I'm sitting here telling you, like, you're in the corner office, right, with the floor to ceiling windows. Like you're the executive office. You earned it. You've done your chops. And I'm telling you,
right.
you have to get your ass back in the mailroom, because I need to teach you how to market for a couple of years, and then you'll start building your business and going.
You
Right.
know,
But that's
I
what it
had
is.
an art agent that I was paying.
Yeah.
And she was sending out, she would get on the phone and talk to these galleries. They would go on my website. They would look at the work. They'd say, oh, it's beautiful, but we've got a line of artists that are still waiting to get in.
Yep.
And I had for like 3 years, and I did not one time did she get me in any gallery.
I know.
And I've got these huge pieces. I mean, 72-inch, huge stuff.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. Imagine if you spent the 3 years marketing on your own, right? And bit by bit, follower by follower, post by post, email by email, built your business. Where would you be now? Significantly different place. It's the only thing that works. And we're like, trust me, you don't think I know? It's the number one thing no artist or photographer wants to do. They do not want to work on their marketing. They don't want to do it. They want someone else to do it for them.
It's finding the time to do it. That's the problem.
No, trust me, the time is there. You've got the time. We all have the time. We all have 24 hours in a day, right? Like the time is there. And the point is it is the highest leverage thing that you could be doing. It just is, full stop. Right. And look,
right.
You tried everything else up to the point. You wouldn't be on this call if you didn't know this was the answer.
Well, that's why I'm going to hire you.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. I'm just confirming to you, you know what you need to be doing, right? Like,
right.
You're not going to like it. Yeah.
So see, I'm getting my art out there.
Yep. You are. That's how it goes.
All right. Have you seen my website?
No, but I'll look at it. You need to get on the call and go through the demo and the tour. I'll have somebody reach out.
Okay.
Like, Greg,
awesome.
we can help you. Just I'm not going to sugarcoat it though. First year's gonna suck. First year's gonna suck. I have to teach you. I have to teach you how to capture emails. I have to teach you how to email the emails. I have to teach you how to run a live art show. I have to teach you how to market on the socials, right? I have to teach you how to run a sale and what the mechanics of running a sale look like. I have to get you selling prints, because I imagine your starting price point is way too damn high. So you don't even have any lower end offerings, and that's a problem.
I do have G Clay prints that are really nice. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So awesome.
Yeah. We'll
thank you.
We'll reach out. And what part of California are you in, just out of curiosity?
I am in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Nice. My wife went to Healdsburg a couple of weekends ago on a wine tasting thing with her girlfriends.
Healdsburg is so amazing.
Hey,
the galleries there, the work in there, and you know,
Bear Republic Brewery too.
It's interesting. Sometimes you walk into a gallery and you look at some of the artwork and you're like, what is this doing in here?
Yeah.
What is this?
I know.
Right?
It doesn't matter. The gallery is complete nonsense. You don't need them. It is literally exploitative. And like I said, if you get into one, fine. On top of everything else, it's all good, but not in lieu of. And look, you realize you're going to be selling art for the next 5 decades. Okay. You've got the time to do this. You have to have the perspective of how long it takes. And then, you get in your mind the marketing that you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to do some grinding. But once you do, boy, is it rosy on the other side of things, right? Like you have a business no one can take away from you. And then what happens once you do it? Then the galleries start coming to you.
You know who I really respect?
Huh?
Is the coffee shop artists that do these little flowers for like $400.
Yeah.
You know, those little tiny square.
Oh yeah, you laugh. We have this gal. Her name's Kim Zavia, and she's figured out the flower recipe, or she can churn one out, like that, churn one out in I'm not kidding, like 12 minutes. And last Mother's Day, She sold 163 of them in 48 hours. Okay. It not
It's crazy.
not like bottom level price points, right? So, you know,
Yeah.
it's like we have a lot of cool learnings like that we share on the inside.
Right. Okay, sir.
All right. Have a great weekend, brother. We'll reach out.
Nice talking with you. Okay,
Yeah,
bye.
you too. Okay, Pamela, you are up next.
Okay, some of the things that I was thinking about maybe already been talked about,
That's
but
okay.
just the one thing I have is I'm a photographer. I'm
Yes.
a wildlife and nature photographer,
Okay.
and this 250%. Well, if I'm selling an 8x10, that's an 8x10 can just a regular print is $1.50. So how do I translate
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. So
I mean, if I'm selling a gallery wrap, a large then the 250 makes sense. But at some of the
you
lower
have to adjust.
ends,
You have to adjust on some of the smaller ones for sure. You have to adjust it. Yeah. But there's, there are ranges on all of them, and we have guidelines on what all of the ranges are, and then we have 100
Okay.
other customers, and so it's like when you have a question, you just go and look, right? Like, we have some really amazing wildlife photographers, and to give you a for instance, what you would do is you would just go to their website and look and see what their pricing is, right? But that's sort of what we have, the guides. The 250 is just a good way to conceptually benchmark, how high up you need to be, because again, you have to be running sales, you have to be running promotions, right? And like when you run the sales and you run the promotions is when the whole game changes. All right, so here's a wildlife
so
guy for you. Let's see what his small ones are. I might as well take a look. I'll do this one. Let's see. So his on a 15x10 is 180 bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And if
is that framed or not framed?
That's not framed. That's just on Luster photo paper.
Mm-hmm.
On acrylic, he's 310.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what his different sizes are. An 18x12, he's going 365. A 24x16, he's going 475. A 30x20, he's going 625. And a 36 by 24, he's going 835.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a for example. But yeah, the pricing is the least of your concerns. It's very, very easy to set. It's very, very easy to adjust up and down. And, again, it's one of those things that like everybody always stresses out about the pricing and contemplating it and thinking through it and everything else, but the business isn't growing when you're doing that.
Yeah. And if I want to see like some websites that people have that your customers, how do I go about doing that?
We'll send you a bunch of examples
okay.
on the email after this. And then, if what you heard today piqued your interest, go and get the demo. And then, you have some ability to steer it, right? Like say, I want to see wildlife photographers, or I want to see, this type of photographer, and they'll be able to show you in detail. But, one of our dirty little secrets is the websites are very, very simple. They're very, very simple for a reason. Anything and everything that we attempt to do in a digital capacity, all we're really attempting to do is get it as close as possible to the ideal way to actually sell. And what is the actual ideal way to sell photography? Yes, it's in person, but even more so, it's in a gallery, right? That's the mental model that everyone understands. And when you go into a gallery, what do you notice about a gallery? Minimalist, maybe some cool furniture, white walls. Why? The art is front and center. And then what does everybody do when they build their website? They put colors and banners and large fonts and all kinds of goofy shit that just takes your focus completely off the art. And then you wonder why none of it sells. It's like, but I want my thing to be so beautiful. My point is, and I apologize for swearing. I shouldn't have said that. Our websites are extremely minimalist for a reason. Okay. They attempt to duplicate, to emulate the gallery experience. And there is very little work that you have to do to them, by which I mean your logo goes up, your photo goes up, your description goes up, your pricing goes up, the About Me section goes up, and you're done. There's nothing else you're messing around with. You're not messing around with colors. You're not messing around with fonts. You're not designing anything. You're not doing any of that. Because none of that nonsense is going to change your business. You're instantaneously working on marketing and learning how to market, because that's what going to do is actually going to move prints. So we can send you the examples. You can totally look at them, but you have to get out of the frame of mindset that it matters. Like our gallery software is very good at what it does. It is very good at converting visitors into buyers, and it's done. The 80-20 is complete. You don't have to worry about it. We've already worried about it for you. We need to get to the major problem. and we need to start working on the major problem, and it's day by day until we get there. So that's the ballgame.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Nikon or Canon, Gal, just out of curiosity? Yeah, you have to unmute again. I always love asking that.
I'm sorry. What, did you say something?
Nikon or Canon?
Canon.
Canon. Awesome. Love it. I'm Canon too. Okay, Charlene, you're up next. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I have to agree with you about the whole graphic design thing as someone who has worked in graphic design.
Yeah.
So people get really crazy and really nuts with that crap.
Yes, and it does not help sell anything. All it does is waste time.
No, it doesn't.
And stroke one
It really
ego.
doesn't. Maybe a good logo, but that's about it. That's really all you need.
Yes.
Thank you for speaking to this. I mean, I just found out about this art storefronts thing. Probably, I think I saw an ad on Facebook, and that's how I found it.
Awesome.
But you know, it's like as artists, we're actually taught to rely on somebody else to sell our stuff.
I know, it's pathetic.
I was thinking about this, and I'm like, that's what they do.
I know, 100%. Not only that, like all of you guys are, you know, a great deal of you you've learned about the masters, and you've learned art history, and you've learned about the various different styles. Where the hell was the class on how you actually monetize your creative talents for a business that can feed you and your family? I never saw that one in the syllabus at college.
Yeah,
no. That's literally why it's what we do, right? Like, you know, there's so little practical information out there that actually exists. And you know what's so funny is that pre-COVID, we never had any video sessions like this at all, like straight up. You know, we had like a podcast, we had our content marketing and everything else, and we sort of saw the writing on the wall when COVID hit. Like, we need to do more, we need to step up our game. So we started
I wish
running.
I'd seen you guys last year.
Yeah, so we started, but here's the point that I'm making. We started running these Zoom sessions like this for our customers, where we teach the various different things, we go over it, and then the mics get unmuted and everyone asks their questions, so we give advice, right? And so on these sessions, or the customer sessions, more or less the same, what we find, which is so insane, is like hundreds of people a week will stay on and watch the entire thing and not answer a single solitary question. And then not only will that happen, they keep coming back and back and back. And as much as I would love to say it's like, because myself, my team are such sweet teachers, that's not what it is. Do you know what it is? There is such a paucity of business and marketing driven content that is actually teaching an artist or photographer how to grow their business. Where else do you go for this stuff? It doesn't exist. And, and oftentimes if it does, it's some sort of a charlatan that's trying to sell you a BS course, okay? And how do I know they're BS courses? Because I have 5,500 customers on my platform and I see who's selling, right? I know exactly who's selling from what traffic sources. And it's so funny because like that, I always liken it to, like, it's like we all lived in the same town, right? We all lived in the same town and I worked at the bank and everybody banked at the bank. Okay. And like your neighbor is out there driving around the brand new Mercedes, right? But I know that person has 37 cents in their bank account. Like, you BS artists, you are so full of it, what you're selling. Like, none of the nonsense out there works to grow an art or photography business. The good old fashioned hard work and marketing works, but no one wants to talk about that, right? Everyone wants to talk about the little shortcuts and this and that, and SEO, and Pinterest, and you can use Facebook ads, and all of it is nonsense. And so my point is, it's crazy how much this type of content resonates with artists and photographers on a regular basis, because it just doesn't exist. And to your point, you have been trained to have to rely on other people. It's not right. It's not fair.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I've been, one of those, I've been drawing and painting since I was a child.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was taught all different kinds of stuff through high school, college, and then in life. I'm mainly a painter, but I do a bunch of other things, and I've shown and sold at sci-fi convention shows, abstract art in the gallery over here. I've created a deck of cards out of my work. So I've try to have something at like every level of a price point. But what I suck at is talking about my work and doing the marketing. So you're 100% on point.
You're not, trust me.
I guess I didn't have a
question.
I just wanted to say hi.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I'm enjoying the whole plant background. You could see, okay?
Yes,
my fake background, I'm into the plants too, right?
Yeah. Soothing.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I wanted to say. So
okay. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Okay. Good session today. So I'm going to send you guys, a video of the thing after the fact. One of the things that I always say on this is like, look, everybody wants to monetize their creativity. On this session, you got to find out if you think we're full of crap or if we know what we're talking about. If you feel like we know what we're talking about and you're like, okay, I need to understand what next steps are, request a demo. It's a test ride process. You look at the software and see. You can decide at that point in time if we're for you or for not. And because we're at the end of the month, I know we're running a big sale, which I think actually technically ends today. But if you get the form in, then they'll lock in your pricing or whatever. But if you're just discovering us for the first time, don't worry, we're not going anywhere, right? Like I don't push the false urgency nonsense. But what the real urgency is no joke. Black Friday, Cyber Monday is coming. Okay, I have 7 years of data. Okay, one thing that is fundamentally true about this business: normal marketing, sale. Normal marketing, sale. Normal marketing, sale. I went the wrong direction. Normal marketing, sale. Rinse and repeat. That's what this business is year in, year out. Year in, year out, year after year after year. You normal market, then you have a sale when the time is right. You normal market, you have a sale when the time is right. There is no bigger time is right than the Q4. Just isn't. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, absolutely crazy. That's in a non-COVID time. If COVID kicks again, I'm an optimist. But if this Delta ugliness comes back and people are staying inside their houses, like what do you think happened last COVID? Phenomenal results for the artists that could have been selling. Why? Because everyone was spending more time at home. And if you look at the entire home decor segment, it absolutely exploded during COVID. It didn't matter if you were buying an office chair, streaming equipment, or putting a pool in, or anything home related. Art and photography fell into this, right? The sales just exploded. So more of it was being purchased than any point in time in history. And then all of the venues in which you would normally buy it, retail galleries closed, show and fair circuit not happening. So it created this fantastic delta. And if you were in the middle and you had the ability to market, you had that collector list, like you had been working on your marketing, you had one of the biggest years you've ever had. So, okay, Q4 is coming again. Okay, there's 37 days till the start of October. It used to be back in the day that things would actually start after Thanksgiving. Then one company starting the race a little bit earlier, then the next, then the next, then the next. Now, like mid-October, the sales are already in the water. The credit cards are already out. People are going crazy. And then it just gets crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier. And, a great many artists, when I say that, they think like sales. I don't want to have any sales. It cheapens me. It cheapens my work. I am only aware of 2 companies that don't have sales. It's Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's, okay? Everyone else has sales. And guess what? Louis Vuitton Group is now buying Tiffany. So there's only going to be one company that doesn't discount ever. That's number one. Number 2, I've done this for a long time now. When the pieces start getting more than $25,000 per, do you have any idea how hard the high net worth individuals grind on those purchase prices? Okay. Do you think high net worth individuals that's paying more than $25,000 for a piece of art have that much money to spend on art by paying retail? No, they grind harder than anyone. So fundamentally, the sale is all about getting human beings to take action. We need incentives and we need scarcity. Okay, that is what the sale provides. And so Q4, biggest time of the year to do this. I want all of you guys to, at the very least, get in the game this time, right? Do some normal marketing ahead of time. Get in the game. If you're going to join with us, fantastic. We're going to get you up to speed. We're going to have you ready to go. If you don't, still, please get something in the water. Run your first live art show, right? Excuse me. It's just the best time to do it, period. So, all right. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Any final questions? Comments? Thoughts? Okay. QB's got another one. All right. Go ahead, QB.
Hello?
Yep. Gotcha.
I said, I just wanted to thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks. Yeah. I appreciate you. Okay. Apparently Ben's got a question. Is that what you're saying? You have another one, Ben? Let's see. I'm going to unmute you, Ben. Go ahead. I can hear you, Ben, I think. Oh, sorry. I thought Juan was saying your hand was up. Sometimes I can't tell. What else? The one thing I was laughing to is Greg's in his like garage studio earlier, right? And I show the pure amount of art that has been moved by my buddy Matthew out of his garage just by turning those cameras on and talking. No joke. So the point is, it's like we live in such an amazing world right now, right? We live in such an amazing world in the sense that you guys have a product that you can create in your homes You don't have to send out for a prototype to China and get injection moldings or wait 6 to 8 weeks for something to come. You create it, and then you can go and sell it again without leaving your house, and then ship internationally. Like, it's staggering. You know, I go back to my buddy's sale, and I'll do this as a final. Let me pull it up and get back to it. What do I have to do this? Is that going to work? Yeah. You know, like, this guy selling, is this the one? Oh no, that's a new catalog reveal. Don't get me wrong. This guy's like an extremely talented freaking artist, but these works here were like sitting in his garage for like, or sitting in his basement rather, for like months and months and months. And what did he do? There's no fancy lights. There's no fancy camera. There's no hair. There's no makeup, right? Like, his garage side door is open. The birds are making this massive racket, and there's paint everywhere, and his dog's on the floor. Okay. And he's switching numbers and doing whatever he's doing. And out of these 60 pieces, once the show is over, right, he had to ship to, and this doesn't even look like any of his new stuff. His new stuff is insane. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can see some signs, but like his new stuff, I don't even know if I can find one of his new pieces. Are insane. But anyway, he had to ship to his native Canada. He had to ship to the United States. He had to ship a couple of pieces to Central and South America. He had to ship a couple of pieces to Europe and a couple to Asia after it was over. Now, the shipping headache aside, that is an international-based business out of his garage, essentially. He just painted out of his garage. He just sold out of his garage. And you know what? There was no 50-50 split on any of those sales. And you know what? He 100% kept all of the revenue from those sales, right? Like, you know, it's just a fantastic time. You can truly have an international business, and I'm blown away by it. And I'm telling you, it is absolutely the future, full stop. So watch his videos. You know, you'll hear my voice in him too, because I'm playing the ghost and machine on a lot of his. But we practice what we preach here, guys, and we're good at what we do. And that's what we want to teach you to do. Market, grow a real business. So, okay. That's what I got you. Guys, thanks. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you all. Have wonderful weekends, all of you. And hope to see you soon again or on the inside. Bye now.